Tom, about 1,300 new homes are being built on the outer skirts of Adelaide. It's a bold new plan pretty much from our government to do near Dublin, so 60 kilometres north of the city.
Yeah,
it's pretty
right.
much where there's about 200 people living there, expecting it to go almost up to about 3,500, just because they're putting a new bioreactor in that can generate clean gas and energy, and it's just a really comfortable spot to live with low emissions and cheap fuel pretty much.
Great news as well, because like the housing prices are so high, so hopefully that can bring that average down a little bit, and hopefully they're a bit cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. So just another spot to live that's also a little bit cheaper.
Fantastic.
In SA News as well, Wang Wang and Fooney have been confirmed now. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's now confirmed that they will leave in November.
They are going to go.
Yeah, so we're going to do a swap around with a bunch of other pandas, so they will not be in Adelaide anymore.
There you go.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because
They've been here for so long.
Yeah, 2009.
09 was it?
09 they came over, so it's been quite a while.
Well, there you go, Adelaide. If you want to go catch Wang Wang and Fooney before they leave, head down to the Adelaide Zoo before November.
Yeah, end of an era. And as well, Apple, we said before, have released a bunch of new software updates, things like that. But they're planning to, so these are the updates that are coming out. One of them we haven't touched on that's really interesting and could be a little bit prone to cyber hacking and stuff, is why it's a bit controversial, is the idea that you can tap pay.
Now, is this when you connect your phone, you put your phone on someone else's and you transfer money?
Yeah, exactly right. So it's just a quick and easy way to transfer. So gone are the days if you have one of those mates who says, "Oh, my bank's really slow. I'll,
my BSB takes a couple days.
It
I haven't got cash.
Usually takes a few days. Mine's really slow." Now you can spring them and say, "Well, tap it right away," and you can do it immediately.
You're just going to have to wait till payday.
I heard something on a podcast that was insane.
Right.
And it was one of those that I had to pause and rewind back, and, I was in disbelief of what I heard.
Yeah, surely not.
Surely this doesn't happen around the scene. And we're going over to all the tradies, all the guys working in construction, stuff like that. And it was a podcast pretty much talking about getting revenge on customers for, maybe they're giving a little lip back, and then you want to do something back to them, but
not offering tea or coffee.
Exactly, yeah. No biscuits.
Yeah, what the hell?
Result in
Where's
bad.
my jam fancy?
Exactly right. So this one tradie was telling this story of someone he associated with. He wasn't directly there, but was saying a thing that bricklayers, and obviously this isn't to clump bricklayers together doing this. This is literally one person.
This is one person
on a podcast who's done it. Still an insane story. Got into a feud with whoever the resident of the building of the house was, whatever, and then decided to pee on the bricks.
Right.
Urinate on them, and then brick the house pretty much. And the intention was that, I didn't even know if it would work. I guess it would, that the house would stink as you build it. So
it's very petty.
It's extremely petty. And this one bloke that's given it a whack. And I just think, I've never heard of anyone doing it.
I've heard of plenty of people getting revenge on bad customers. Back when I used to work at the pub, if somebody came up and they weren't, very nice or polite, if they wanted a beer, bartenders that I was working with would pour them beer no head.
Yeah.
Just go straight to the brim.
Oh, so
liquid.
that's the insult when you receive
if
no
you get
head beer.
If you get a beer with no head, it means you've done something wrong, or they're just an incompetent bartender.
Well, it's an interesting thing with the bartending as well, because there's the classic you hear about them underpouring you. You get a vodka drink, they don't like you, they're going to underpour you.
Or even the wine's not hit the line in the glass.
Not get your money's worth.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of examples of getting revenge on bad customers. We are going to open up the phone lines in just a minute. Have you gotten revenge on a bad customer, or do you have a story of someone who's gotten some good revenge?
I heard about a bloke that rubbed meat on a vegetarian sandwich, and it was for a customer.
That's not on.
They're all petty. I feel like
That's a health thing.
You cannot escape them being petty, though, can you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the hospitality industry is probably a good one for these. So if you are involved in the hospo industry, tradies as well, let us know. How do you get revenge on bad customers? Do you know someone who's gotten revenge on bad customers? Let's kick things off here. We've got Michael in Modbury on the line. Michael, mate, good morning. How you going?
Hey, lads.
Hey.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Very well, mate. Now, how'd you get revenge on the bad customer?
Wasn't a bad customer, it was a bad manager. I was an apprentice chef at a local Adelaide hotel.
Yep.
And we ended up crumbing up a piece of old tea towel to serve as his lunch.
Wow. Wait, so was it just...
Makes a passable beef schnitty if you crumb it up enough.
Oh, did they notice? Like, is it something that you take the first bite out of and you're like, oh, you got me, it's a tea towel? Or did they manage to eat some of it?
I think he managed to get about a good mouthful of it. He was cutting at it for a long time.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, this is really tough.
And Michael, there's no meat wrapped in the tea towel whatsoever. It's just pure tea towel.
No, pure tea towel.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
One of the worst ones. Summer in Golden Grove. How'd you get revenge on the customer?
I have to admit, it was not me. It was a friend of my husband.
Yep.
He is a air conditioning installer, and he was installing an air conditioning system at a restaurant. And the restaurant owner wasn't particularly nice to him, so he threw an empty Coke can up into the ducting system and locked it all up, left the scene, and of course then when the restaurant went to use their aircon, it would rattle around, so he got an extra call-out fee to have to come back and identify what the unknown problem was and made some more money out of it.
It's a Coke can.
Right, so it would just...
and it was rattling around and banging on the metal when they used their aircon.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
You know what? That's one of the least petty ones.
Yeah.
A bit more MacGyver-y clever on that front.
Get around that one, Summer. Hey, Dylan over in Morford Vale, did you get revenge on a bad customer?
Yeah, maybe at the start of my career as a chef, definitely. I may have dropped a couple of steaks on the floor.
Right, so is that the secret in hospo? That's the go-to. You just drop it on the floor and serve it.
I guess, look, at the start of a career maybe, but any real self-respecting chef won't really do it.
Yeah,
you
right.
Just didn't have the self-respect.
Maybe, but,
You're like, that's not me.
I've got self-respect.
100% was, not anymore.
Good on you, Dylan.
Hey, Andrew in Morford Vale, tell us, what was the revenge?
Hey, I was working in a pub in Adelaide. We used to have a customer come in every week, order the same schnitzel and complain about it every single time. My head chef one day had enough. He went into the cooler and grabbed a bit of soggy cardboard off of like a barramundi box or something like that.
Oh.
And he's crumbed it up, just tried it, served it to the guy. And, watched from the serving window, and the guy, dead set, cut off one piece, put it in his mouth, ate it, got up, walked out, never came back.
So he got some fishy cardboard instead. But he didn't complain about it, Andrew.
Didn't make a single complaint. Didn't make a word, make a noise. He just got up and walked up.
New flavour. Can these chefs keep leaving can you just leave the schnitzels alone? Tea towels, fish boxes.
Don't piss off people that handle your food. That's what I'm learning right now. Let's wrap things up with Max in Mount Barker. Max, good morning, mate. How did you get revenge on the customer?
So it was actually someone that I know. It's my friend's mum, and her abusive ex-partner used to come home from work almost every day and just very unkindly ask for a sandwich. And this one day she had enough of it, and she ended up putting cat poo on the sandwich along with a bunch of other stuff.
Oh,
and he ate the whole thing. Actually said that he enjoyed it.
Jeez,
best sandwich he's ever had.
Yeah.
It's too good.
What's the secret topping? Yeah. What have you put in here?
Is there herbs on this one?
I don't know. I think there was a bunch of salami and stuff that was in there. So.
Bit of kitty litter mixed in.
We've recently had something installed within our system which could save us a lot of hassle down the road.
Yes, historic moment for Fresh. We've never had one before, so this is pretty cool. This is what a lot of the big stations have.
We have a dump
button. Yeah, so we have a dump button now, which is really cool. If you don't know what one is, it pretty much kind of cuts out anything that you say that is bad as soon as you hit it. So if we accidentally swear or say something we shouldn't, then you just hit this button and it sort of recycles time and goes back in time a little bit and erases it.
Yes. So the fact that this has just been installed, we don't think it's been properly live tested yet. We thought, what the hell? Let's put our careers on the line. We'll test it for the station and... hopefully it works out. Otherwise, some of our secrets might get out to the community.
Exactly right. So we'll say a bold statement, a secret of each of ours to see if it works. And hopefully, if this dump button is in full capacity, you simply just won't hear it.
Hopefully you won't find out our secrets, but should we give it a go?
Yeah, it should just be a delay.
All right, do you want to go first? You want to do the honors?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right, I've got a burn on my chest from eating a burrito naked on the weekend.
All right,
I think it worked.
Looking at our producers, we're getting a thumbs up. It looks like it worked.
It worked.
All right.
No one heard it. No one heard my dirty secret.
I mean, is it still there though?
Yeah. It's a little bit painful. But it's not.
No one knows what we're
for
talking
anyone
about.
to know about it.
No one knows what we're talking about. All right, I'll say mine. All right, my secret is that sometimes when I have a nightmare, I'll still go and sleep with my parents. All right,
hey, thumbs up. Thumbs
getting
up from
the thumbs
producers.
up.
No one can hear
Getting
it.
the thumbs up. Yeah.
Hey, I hope the night terrors aren't too
Whoa,
bad.
what the hell are you doing? That's a secret. That's between us. Two of our mates currently overseas in Europe.
Yep.
They just left at the start of the week, and their trip started in Mykonos. So they were only there for 3 days and 2 nights.
Yeah, sure.
They've just left Greece as of last night.
It is funny, isn't it? You know, we had the Mykonos music playing in the background. It is really the most casual music for what Mykonos actually is. The party hotspot of Greece, one of the big islands. So it definitely was rowdy. They're having a good time.
Yes, well, they were there for the 3 days, 2 nights. They had a bit of time to get out there and see the sights and enjoy themselves. And in that time, they were staying at an Airbnb. So it was all pretty smooth sailing until their final night, where they decided they wanted to go out and they wanted to really have one last big night in Mykonos. So they probably spent a bit too much money on enjoying themselves, but by the end of the night, they managed to bring home a bit of company. A couple guests, they hosted some people.
Yep.
And morning comes. Their guests left before they woke up. They had to be up early and leave early to get to another island. But our mates, they start packing up because they're leaving the Airbnb to leave Greece as a whole. And they're looking for the key to the Airbnb. Nowhere to be found. They re-unpack their bags. They're looking everywhere they could possibly look. They cannot find this key. Callum, it turned out that these girls accidentally took the key. They came over. So now they're on another island.
Yeah, well, that's what I heard. So these girls, not only have they got this, elusive key, which is tiny, hard to find, but it is literally on another island. They're separated by water now. They cannot get to the key. What on earth do you do when you're paying all this money to an Airbnb person?
Well, they've had to tell the Airbnb host, hey, look, we've lost the key. Absolutely. They're so upset with them. Apparently there's no way to locksmith another key. So this Airbnb host is having to replace the entire door to the Airbnb.
It's a crazy one. You don't want to... It's one of those for our mates as well that you don't want to have to pay for a replacement door when you're overseas. You're already spending so much money on travel, food, drinks, whatever, but a whole door for some random bloke in Europe?
Well, that's the thing. They're saying it's going to cost you around 500 Australian dollars, which... This is only like day 2 or 3 of their trip to Europe, and they're already 500 in debt because of this door.
Yes, our Eurail pass won't work to Portugal because we had to pay for a door.
And it all comes down to losing that key. So we want to open up the phone lines here, Callum. What did you lose overseas?
Hey, it's so easy to do. Massive one is the passport. People lose their passport all the time. I don't know. I've never heard of anyone of my close mates doing it though, so I don't know the process, what you do when you lose a passport. I imagine it'd be
go to an embassy.
Pretty insane process. But yeah, that technology, laptops, phones, things like that.
You lost a book in Europe, didn't you?
I did lose a book of Seinfeld scripts. I left it in the hotel room next to a Bible. Would have been the weirdest thing to open up that cupboard.
First, we got a couple people coming through the text line, Callum.
Yes, we got this one here. Left my dignity in the backpackers in Amsterdam.
Yeah, okay.
As you would.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that left their dignity back in Amsterdam.
I'm sure, yeah, heaps and heaps.
Another text here. Weirdly, I'm sure this happens a bit, boys, but I lost the engagement ring over in Paris. Flicked out on a roller coaster in Disneyland. Bull. BS.
What do you reckon? Just didn't have the money to pay for the ring. Hey, look, it flicked out on the roller coaster.
Why would you be taking an expensive engagement ring on a roller coaster?
Maybe you want to propose at the peak of the roller coaster at its max height.
Stupid. Let's go to Steffi over in Brighton. Steffi, What did you lose overseas?
I left my laptop on the plane when I got off at Bali.
Yeah.
And then same trip, I also lost my phone.
Wow. Okay. So what happens when you lose your laptop and your phone? How are you getting around?
I just use my friends, really.
Yeah.
Hey, Steffi, the laptop, are we talking like a MacBook or are we talking just like...
Yeah, a MacBook.
Right. So how much money in technology do you think you lost on this one trip?